Welcome to my channel. Have you ever wanted to speak English without having to stop and translate everything in your head? You try to say something, but suddenly your mind goes blank. The words are there, you've studied them, but when you need them most, they seem to disappear. You feel slow, unsure, or maybe even stuck. That's because you're still thinking in your native language first. But here's something important. You can learn to think directly in English, even if you're just starting out. When you start thinking in English, speaking becomes much easier. And in this video, I'll show you exactly how to do it step by step, the same way I learned. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to take the first step. Do you ever feel like this? If yes, write yes in the comments. You're not alone, we'll learn together. Now, let's begin. Chapter 1. The real reason you can't think in English yet. I understand that feeling. You already know many English words. You've watched countless videos, read books, even written short texts. But when the moment comes to speak, your mind suddenly goes blank. The words disappear even though you've studied them. You feel slow blocked and frustrated. You ask yourself, why can't I think in English? I used to ask the same thing. I had learned the grammar. I could write essays in school. But still, when someone asked me something in English, I froze. I couldn't answer. I stayed silent. I tried to understand their words. Then I searched for my reply in my language. I translated my thoughts into English. But by the time I found the words, the moment was gone. I felt embarrassed. I thought maybe something was wrong with me. Maybe I just wasn't good enough. But the real problem was not my brain, and it's not yours either. The real issue is habit. You've built a strong habit of thinking in your native language. That's normal. Your brain wants safety, and your own language feels safe. So you always think in your first language first, and then try to translate. But that process is slow and painful. Translation creates a wall. It stops your fluency. It kills your confidence. If you want to speak English naturally, you need to build a new habit, the habit of thinking directly in English. This is what nobody told me before. I thought I needed more grammar. I thought I had to memorize thousands of words. But what I truly needed was this training my brain to stay in English even with simple thoughts. Let me take you back to one specific moment. I was in class. The teacher asked me a very simple question. It was only one line, but I couldn't answer. My heart was racing. I looked down. I wished I could disappear. After class, I cried. I whispered to myself, "You knew the answer. Why couldn't you say it?" That night I sat alone. I closed my eyes and asked again, "Why can't I speak?" Then something hit me. I didn't think in English. I only studied it. I never used it outside the classroom. I didn't speak to myself in English. I didn't practice simple thoughts. I was learning English, but I wasn't living with it. That had to change. So I tried something new. I looked at my table and said, "This is a table." I looked at the wall and said, "That is a wall." I touched my hand and said, "My hand is cold." It felt strange, a bit funny, but I kept doing it. Every day I said 10 small sentences silently in my head. I didn't speak them out loud. I didn't write them. I just thought them in English. And something slowly began to change. After 1 week, my mind started moving faster. I could think of simple things in English more quickly. After 1 month, I noticed I was thinking in English without even trying. I saw a dog and thought, "It's cute." I felt hungry and thought I want food. These were not complicated sentences, but they were real. They were mine, in English, and that's the key. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need thousands of words. You need small, true thoughts in English. That's how your brain becomes free. Don't worry, I will guide you, step by step, slowly, gently, and with patience. You're not failing because of memory or intelligence. You just have an old habit, and we're going to replace that habit with a better one. Now let's move into Chapter 2, where I'll show you how to unlock your brain's secret shortcut using pictures instead of words. This will help you think in English faster without needing to translate. Chapter 2. Think in pictures, not in words. When I was a child, learning my first language, I didn't study grammar rules. I didn't memorize lists of vocabulary. I learned through life. I saw things. I felt emotions. I wanted things. And naturally, I started speaking. I saw my mother and said, "Mama." I saw a toy and said, "Ball." My brain didn't need translation, it needed pictures. The pictures came first and the words followed. It was natural. It was real. But when I started learning English, things changed. I saw the word apple, and the teacher said, "It means insert native word." My brain now had to go through 3 steps: English, native word, image. That made things slow and confusing. Then I learned something powerful. Your brain doesn't actually need translation. What it needs is a direct connection, an image. Your brain is smart, but it loves simple things. It remembers faces, colors, and shapes more than grammar. So if you want to think in English more easily, you need to skip translation. You need to go straight from English to picture. Let's try something right now. Look at your hand. Don't say the word in your language first. Just say hand. The picture is already in your mind. Now look at the door. Say door. Don't translate. Just connect the picture with the English word. I use this method every day. I chose 5 things in my room: a book, a pen, a chair, a fan, a bottle. I looked at them one by one and said their names in English, slowly, gently, like I was learning to speak for the first time. Book, pen, chair, fan, bottle. No translation, only pictures and English. It felt simple. It felt light. And most importantly, it worked. After 1 week, I added more words: red book, blue pen, big chair. Then I added feelings: cold fan, empty bottle. My brain loved it. I didn't feel tired. I felt free. I stopped relying on my old language. I was building a new path in my brain, a path made for English. And you can do it too. Right now, look around you. Choose one object. Say its name in English. Now close your eyes and imagine it. Say the word again. Do this a few times every day. Your brain will start to change. Before long, you'll hear someone say, apple, and your brain will picture an apple, not a word in your old language. That is real fluency. I also use flashcard apps with real images and English words. No translation. Just tree, river, mountain, laugh, cry. It made my brain faster and lighter. And one day, while walking outside, I saw a flower. I didn't think in my native language. I just smiled and thought, beautiful flower. That was a proud moment. It was small but powerful. It meant English was becoming natural for me. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to know every word. You just need to practice daily. Look, feel, say. Go from picture to English. No stress, no pressure, just small steps. You are building a new home in your mind, a home where English is alive and free. In the next chapter, I'll show you how to take this further, how to think using tiny English sentences. This will help you move from single words to real thoughts that stick. You're doing great. Let's keep going. Chapter 3. Start thinking in English with tiny sentences. After I started thinking in pictures, I felt better, but something was still missing. I could name objects like pen book or table, but I couldn't form full ideas. My thoughts were short and broken. I wanted to say more but didn't know how. That's when I realized what I needed: tiny English sentences, not long ones, not difficult ones, just short, honest thoughts that reflected what I felt. I remember my first one: I'm tired. It was a normal day. I came home from school exhausted. Instead of saying it in my language, I quietly whispered, I am tired. That moment felt different. I had expressed a feeling using English. After that, I tried more. It is hot. I am hungry. This is my book. They were simple, but to me, they were powerful. These weren't memorized lines from a textbook. They were real personal thoughts. So I created a small plan. Every day, I would think 5 tiny sentences in English. I didn't write them. I didn't say them aloud. I just thought them while walking, while eating, even while brushing my teeth. Some of my early ones were, I see a bird. My hands are cold. She is talking. The sky is blue. I want water. They were short, but true. They made English feel closer to me, like it wasn't just something I studied. It was something I lived. And when I made mistakes, I didn't stop. Sometimes I said, he are walking. Then I corrected myself. He is walking. That small fix stayed in my memory. I was learning not from a test, but from real life thoughts. You can do this too, right now. Look around. Say something in your mind. This is my phone. I like tea. My shoes are black. These are seeds. If you plant them every day, your English will grow. Sometimes I turned it into a little game. I walked around my room and described everything. This is a chair. The chair is brown. The brown chair is soft. Bit by bit, my sentences got longer. From 3 words to 4, from 4 to 5. It became fun and real. I didn't need hard grammar. I didn't need fancy vocabulary. I just needed truth said in a simple way. That's what fluency is. Not fast talking, not perfect grammar. It's saying what you feel and what you see honestly in English. Even on lazy days when my brain was tired, I tried just 1 sentence. 1 is better than 0. I told myself this often, and I want you to remember it too. Maybe today your sentence is, I don't know much English. That's okay. Tomorrow it will be, I am learning English. And one day it will be, I can speak English now. All because you started with tiny thoughts. In the next chapter, I'll share my favorite method, how I talk to myself in my mind like I was having a real conversation. It helped me when no one else was around. Let's move on. You're doing great. Chapter 4. Talk in your brain. Like it's a real person. There were days I felt stuck. I wanted to speak English, but had no one to talk to. My friends were busy. My parents didn't speak English. I sat alone in my room filled with words and no one to share them with. That's when I tried something different. I started talking to myself in English. Not out loud, not for anyone else, just silently in my brain. It felt strange at first, but soon it became a life-changing habit. I created a little conversation in my head. How are you? I'm fine, just tired. What did you eat? Rice and chicken. Did you like it? Yes, it was very good. These sentences weren't perfect, but they were mine, in English. I did this while walking, while washing dishes, while riding the bus. I asked myself, where am I going? Then I answered, to the shop. What will I buy? Some bread and milk. That was it. A private conversation inside my head. It felt real. It felt close. English was no longer a subject. It was part of my daily thinking. My brain became my practice partner. I didn't need a book. I didn't need Wi-Fi. I just needed my own thoughts. I was teaching myself. I was learning through life. You can do this too. Start by asking yourself easy questions. Answer with simple words. Don't stress about grammar. Don't worry about speed. Just treat yourself like a kind friend. Try these. What time is it? It's 8 o'clock. What's the weather? It's hot and sunny. How do I feel? I feel happy. That's it. You're not just thinking in English. You're talking in English. Quietly, but powerfully. And that's how fluency begins. Sometimes I imagined I was telling a story. Today, I went to the market. I saw a dog. It was barking. I bought bananas. They were sweet. These tiny stories built my confidence. I remember sitting on a bus and thinking, there's a man walking. He has a red shirt. He looks tired. No one could hear me, but I smiled. Because I was speaking English in my mind with no fear. And that kind of practice helped me in real life. When someone talked to me, I didn't freeze. I had already practiced small answers. I had already asked and answered many times. You don't have to be shy. No one will hear you. No one will judge you. This is your private space. And it works. Tonight when brushing your teeth, try this. Did I do well today? Yes. I learned. I practiced. That small moment is where fluency begins. In the next chapter, I'll show you how I started replacing words from my first language with English words step by step. That made English feel more like my real world. Let's continue this journey one thought at a time. Chapter 5. Replace your native words with English words. Slowly. I remember standing in the kitchen one day. My mom asked me to pass the salt. In my head, I said the word in my language. Then I stopped and thought, wait, what's salt in English? It took me a moment. Then I said it out loud, salt. That small moment showed me something big. I was still thinking in my native language first, and only then trying to find the English word. That habit was slowing me down. My brain had to work extra hard to translate everything. I knew I had to stop doing that, but not by force. Not by pushing too hard. I had to go slowly. I didn't try to change everything in one day. That would be too stressful. Instead, I started small, one word at a time. I chose simple, everyday words like book, water, pen, bag. Each time I saw these things, I said their names in English. I replaced the native words in my mind with the English ones. No more translation. Just picture to English. When I saw water, I didn't think water. I said water. When I looked at a door, I didn't think door. I said door. At first, it felt awkward. My brain wanted to go back to the old habit, but I didn't fight it. I was patient. I just repeated, again and again, gently. Over time, the English words started to feel natural. They became my words too. After nouns, I moved on to simple actions. I used English for everyday routines. I open the door. I eat rice. I wear my shoes. I wash my hands. Sometimes I said them out loud. Sometimes I only thought them. It didn't matter. What mattered was repetition. These daily actions became my personal English practice. Then I added feelings because feelings live deep inside us. I wanted to feel them in English too. I am tired. I am happy. I feel cold. I miss my friend. Slowly, these emotional thoughts no longer needed my native language. I had transferred them into English. They lived there now. Some days I slip back into old habits. I use native words again. But I didn't get upset. I smiled and gently reminded myself, no use the English word. It was like teaching a child with love, not pressure. You can do this too. Start today. Pick 5 simple things around you. Each time you see them say their names in English, don't worry if you forget. Just try again. Bit by bit, your brain will adjust. You'll build a new habit, a new pathway in your thinking. Want a great tip? I made little paper tags with English words and stuck them around my room. On the mirror, I wrote mirror. On the clock, I wrote clock. On the wall. Each time I looked at them, the English word came first. No translation needed. Fluency isn't about speed. It's about direct connection. Replacing native thoughts with English ones one by one. A word, a sentence, a feeling. And then one day, something amazing will happen. You'll speak a full sentence in English without even thinking of the words in your old language. That's the moment you'll know your brain has changed. In the next chapter, I'll show you how I used my daily routine walking, brushing my teeth, cooking to practice thinking in English all day long. Let's keep going, word by word. Chapter 6. How I used my daily life to think in English. One morning, I was brushing my teeth. I looked in the mirror and a small thought appeared in my mind. I am brushing my teeth. It was in English, and I smiled. That sentence used to come in my native language, but now it was in English. That little moment gave me hope. It proved I was changing little by little. After that, I made a promise to myself I would use my daily life to think in English. Not just during study time, not just in class. Every moment of the day could be practice. When I woke up, I thought, I am waking up now. When I looked outside, I said, the sky is blue. When I drank tea, I thought, I like this tea. It is warm. These weren't grammar exercises. They were real thoughts, honest and simple. I wasn't learning from a textbook. I was living in English. I turned it into a game. On my way to school, I described what I saw: a red car, a boy with a bag, a tree with no leaves. These tiny observations made my brain more active. Even when I was waiting in line, I used the time to think. She is talking on the phone. That child is crying. He looks tired. Sometimes I even guessed what people were thinking. He looks worried. Maybe she's going to work. It was fun, and it trained my brain to stay in English longer. When I cooked with my mom, I described the steps. In English, I cut the onions. I put oil in the pan. Now I stir the rice. The smells and actions helped the words stick. At night, I did the same thing. I am lying down. I feel sleepy. Today was a long day. These bedtime thoughts felt gentle, and they were in English. Soon my brain started to prefer English for small things. I didn't force it. I just opened the door, and English came in. You can do this too. Don't wait for the perfect study session. Use your everyday life, your toothbrush, your food, your shoes, your steps, your feelings. They're all practice. Here's one trick I used. I set aside 1 hour each day as English time. During that hour, I told myself, no native language, only English thoughts. If I made mistakes, it was okay. I just tried to stay in English. At first, my brain resisted. It wanted to switch back, but each day it became easier. I didn't need grammar drills. I didn't need a teacher. Life itself was teaching me. Even boring tasks became useful. Washing dishes. This plate is dirty. Folding clothes. I fold the shirt. Walking. I am walking fast. These tiny moments made a big difference. One day, my younger brother asked for help in our native language. And without thinking, I replied in English, "Wait, let me help you." He looked surprised. So did I. but inside I felt proud. My brain had started to think in English first. That was powerful. Fluency doesn't grow in books. It grows in dishes, in traffic, in daily conversations. Every small moment is a seed. If you plant it in English, it will grow strong. In the next chapter, I'll tell you about a method that completely changed how I speak shadowing. It helped me copy native speakers and train my brain to respond fast. Get ready. You're doing something amazing. Chapter 7. The Secret Power of Shadowing to Train the Brain. The first time I heard the word shadowing, I was confused. I thought it had something to do with shadows on the ground, but I was wrong. The real meaning surprised me, and then it changed my life. Shadowing is when you listen to a native English speaker and copy exactly what they say right away. You repeat their words out loud just like an echo, just like a shadow follows a person. At first I felt strange. I found a short video. The speaker said, "Hi, how are you?" I paused it. Then I copied, "Hi, how are you?" I tried to match the way they spoke, their voice, their speed, even their feeling. It wasn't easy, but it felt real. It felt like speaking English the way people truly use it. That day, I discovered something powerful. Shadowing wasn't just about copying sounds, it was about training my brain. It helped me think in English, not my own language. It helped me speak faster. It helped me feel the music of real English. I didn't start big. I began with just 5 minutes each day. I picked videos where people spoke slowly and clearly. I listened to one line, paused it, and then repeated. I made mistakes. I said the wrong words sometimes, but I didn't stop. I laughed. I tried again. I kept going. Here's something important I learned. Shadowing is not about being perfect. It's about being active. You listen, then speak. Listen, then speak again. That pattern teaches your brain speed and fluency. With practice, the words come faster. Your mind stops translating. You start speaking naturally. I remember one morning I shadowed a short story. The speaker said, "It was a sunny day." I echoed, "It was a sunny day." Then came, "The birds were singing." I repeated it too. My tongue felt heavy at first, but each time I copied a sentence, I got a little faster, a little more confident. Later that day, I went outside and saw the sun. My mind said, "It's a sunny day." I didn't plan it. It just came. That was the result of shadowing. It planted English deep into my brain. Sometimes I walked around my room and shadowed podcasts. I listened to the speaker's voice and followed it. My voice followed theirs. My thoughts followed theirs. I didn't pause to understand every word. I didn't worry about being correct. I just copied, like a child learning to speak by hearing and repeating. And then something even more exciting happened. I didn't need the video anymore. Words came by themselves. My brain remembered the sentences. My mouth remembered the rhythm. I was thinking in English without effort. You can do this too. Start with 1 minute of a simple video, maybe a cartoon, maybe a daily English conversation. Listen, pause, repeat, then do it again. Feel the rhythm, feel the emotion. Let your voice follow like a shadow. Even 5 minutes of this practice each day will help your fluency grow. You'll sound more natural. You'll stop translating. You'll speak faster and feel more confident. Shadowing made English feel like part of my real self. Not a school subject, not a test, but something alive in my voice. Here's a great tip. Don't just copy words, copy emotions. If the speaker is happy, you speak with joy. If they are sad, speak softly. Match their energy. English is more than sounds, it's feelings too. Now in the next chapter, I will share how I used listening to improve my thinking in English even more. You'll learn that not all listening is equal, and how emotional focused listening helped my brain think in English clearly. Let's keep going. Your voice is waking up. Your English is becoming stronger with every sound. Chapter 8. Listening that trains you to think in English. For a long time, I believed listening was easy. I listened to English songs. I watched movies in English. I heard English words all the time. But still, I couldn't speak. I couldn't think in English. That made me wonder, why wasn't my listening helping? Then I found the answer. Not all listening helps your brain. Some listening just goes into your ears and disappears. But some listening stays. Some listening teaches your brain to think. That's the kind of listening I needed. I realized that if I wanted to think in English, I had to listen with purpose. Before I listened only for fun. But now I listened to learn. I chose slow, clear content that matched my level. I didn't try to understand everything. I focused on how the speaker used words. I listened to the same audio again and again. One day, I listened to a simple English podcast. The speaker said, "Today, I will go to the store." I paused it. I said it in my mind. Then I played it again. This time, I noticed something new: the rhythm. Today, I will go to the store. I copied the way they said it. Slowly, the sentence became part of me. That night, I thought about my own plans. And my brain said, tomorrow I will go to school. It came naturally. I didn't memorize it. I didn't force it. It just appeared. That's the power of focused listening. With the right kind of listening, you don't just hear, you remember. You don't just understand, you think in English. So I made a habit. Every morning I listened to a short English clip. I closed my eyes. I didn't look at subtitles. I focused only on the speaker's voice. I guessed the meaning. I pictured the scene in my mind. I listened deeply. In the evening, I played the same clip again, but this time, I whispered along. I spoke the words with the speaker. I am going to cook dinner. I like to walk in the park. I said them softly. I said them with feeling. It was like music. My brain liked it. My memory liked it even more. Then I learned a big secret. Listening to the same thing again and again is more powerful than always finding new content. One video 5 times is better than 5 different videos 1 time each. Repetition helps sentences stay in your memory. When a sentence stays, you can think it. You can say it. Here's another secret. Listen to what you love. If you love stories, listen to stories. If you enjoy travel, find English travel shows. If you like food, find cooking channels. When your heart is interested, your brain listens more deeply. And if you don't understand every word, that's okay. Focus on what you do understand. Let the voice guide you. Let the feelings carry you. Little by little, your understanding will grow. One day, I was walking outside, and without warning, a phrase popped into my mind. It's a beautiful day. I hadn't planned it. I hadn't studied it. I had just heard it so many times in songs, in shows, in stories. Now it lived inside me. That was the moment I knew my listening had changed my thinking. You can do this too. Choose one voice, one video, one short story. Listen every day, not with stress, but with joy, with curiosity, with love. Close your eyes. Let the words enter your heart. Let the rhythm flow through you. In the next chapter, I'll show you how I finally stopped being afraid of making speaking mistakes. That fear used to block my thinking in English, but once I overcame it, everything changed. Let's keep moving forward. Your ears are ready. Your thoughts are stronger. English is becoming a part of you now. Chapter 9. How I stopped being afraid of speaking mistakes. In the beginning, I was always nervous to speak English. It wasn't because I didn't know the words. In fact, I knew many of them, but I was afraid of making mistakes, afraid someone might laugh, afraid people would judge me. I kept thinking, what if I say it wrong? What if they correct me? What if I look foolish, so I stayed quiet? I held all the English inside my head. I didn't let it come out. Even when I had something to say, my lips stayed shut. I would listen to people smile, nod politely, and pretend everything was okay. But inside I felt trapped. I was screaming silently. I wanted to speak. I wanted to join the conversation. I wanted to be part of it all. But fear kept stopping me. Then one day, something small but life-changing happened. I was sitting in class. The teacher asked a question. I knew the answer. My heart started beating fast. My palms felt cold. Fear came again. But this time, I didn't want to run. I didn't want to miss my chance again. So I raised my hand. I spoke the sentence. It wasn't perfect. I said, "He go to school," instead of, "He goes to school." There was silence. Then the teacher looked at me, smiled kindly, and said, "Almost correct. Try again." So I did. I said, "He goes to school." She nodded and said, "Good." That was it. No one laughed. No one pointed. Nothing bad happened. But something good happened inside me. Something powerful. That fear I always felt, it started to shrink. I had spoken. I had made a mistake. And I survived. I felt proud of myself. From that day, I gave myself permission to speak more. I allowed myself to be imperfect. I made more mistakes. I mixed up tenses. I forgot words. I chose the wrong phrases. But I also improved. I listened to myself. I corrected myself. And slowly, I noticed something important. Mistakes were not the enemy. Fear was the enemy. I realized the only way to defeat fear was to take small, brave steps. So I made a rule. One mistake a day keeps the fear away. Every day, I tried to say at least one sentence out loud. If I made a mistake, I smiled and fixed it. I turned it into a game. I imagined I was a child learning to walk. When babies fall, people don't laugh, they clap. So I started clapping for myself inside my heart. I told myself, "Good job. You tried, you spoke, you're growing." This changed how I thought. I stopped saying, "What if I say it wrong?" and started saying, "Let's try. Let's speak. Let's learn." You can do this too. Don't run away from mistakes. Don't hide from them. Let them come. Welcome them. Learn from them. Mistakes are not bad. They are your teachers. They show you where to grow. Speak to yourself. Speak to a friend. Speak to your mirror. Speak into your phone. It doesn't matter how or where. What matters is that you speak, even when it's not perfect, especially when it's not perfect. Perfection will come later, but courage must come now. In the next chapter, I will show you how I learned to think faster by using fewer words. I used to believe fluency meant long, fancy sentences, but I learned something different. Real fluency is about being clear and simple. Let's keep going. You're doing better than you think. Chapter 10. How to think faster with fewer words. When I first started thinking in English, I had a wrong idea. I believed I needed big words to sound smart. I thought long, complex sentences would make me seem fluent. So I waited. I waited too long to speak. I searched for difficult words in my mind. I tried to remember grammar rules. I tried to sound clever. But while I was waiting and thinking, the moment to speak passed. And I stayed silent again. That silence made me feel slow. It made me feel like I wasn't good enough. But over time, I learned something important. Fluency is not about saying more. Fluency is about saying what you mean clearly and simply. One day, I met a new friend. She was also learning English, but she spoke with ease. Not with big vocabulary, but with simple words. She said things like, "Let's go. I like it. It's okay." I was surprised. She didn't know fancy grammar. She didn't use long sentences, but she sounded confident. I could feel her meaning. I understood everything she said. That moment changed my thinking. I realized to speak fast, you don't need big words. You need small words that come quickly. Words you use often. Words you don't have to search for. So I started training myself. I stopped trying to speak perfectly. I stopped waiting for the best word. I focused on short sentences. I practiced saying how I felt in just a few words. "I'm tired. This is fun. I want coffee." They were simple sentences, but they worked. They gave me a voice. They helped me speak without fear. They helped me think without getting stuck. At night, I made a list of basic phrases. "What's that?" "Are you okay?" "I don't know." "That's fine." "Thank you." "I'm ready." These phrases became my tools. I didn't need to memorize grammar books. I needed everyday words that I could trust. I also started watching how native speakers talked in real life. I noticed they often didn't speak full grammar. They used short forms. "Gotta go." "Wanna eat?" "I don't know." It wasn't textbook English, but it was real. It was fast. It was effective. I gave myself permission to copy that. I let go of the fear of sounding wrong. I focused on being natural, being clear. One time I met a tourist who needed help. She asked, "Which way to the station?" My heart raced, but I didn't freeze. I said, "Go straight, then right." That was it. She smiled and said, "Thank you." And in that moment, I felt proud. I didn't use difficult vocabulary. I didn't say a big sentence, but I helped. I communicated. I used English. And that's what fluency really means. Thinking fast doesn't mean speaking fast. It means your thoughts come quickly in simple English. It means you don't stop to translate. You don't hesitate. That happens when you practice with fewer words, but use them more often. Words like yes, no. Maybe, I think, I feel, let's go. Come here. It's okay, I need help. These are your tools. These are your steps toward fluency. So now I invite you to try this. Talk to yourself using simple phrases. Don't search for the perfect word, use the one you know. Speak clearly. Speak honestly. And most of all, keep going. In the next chapter, I'll show you how I built a mind map in my brain, a special system that connected all the little words and thoughts. That system helped me grow faster and speak with more confidence. We'll build it together. You're already doing something powerful. Keep walking, one small sentence at a time. Chapter 11. Create a mind map of English inside you. When I first started learning English, I felt lost. Every new word I learned felt like a single dot on a blank page. I knew a few words like apple, eat, morning, but I didn't know how they fit together. I couldn't connect them. They floated in my mind like puzzle pieces without a picture. I memorized many words, but I couldn't use them. That's when I had an idea. What if I could connect them? What if I built something bigger? Something that made everything easier to find and use. So I decided to create something in my mind, a map. A mind map of English. This map wasn't like a map of a city or a country. It was a personal map inside my head. A place where English words were no longer strangers. They were neighbors, friends, part of one system. I started small. I chose one easy word, apple. Then I asked myself, what can I say with this word? I wrote, I eat an apple. The apple is red. I like apples. Just 3 simple sentences. But these were more than just examples. They formed a little group in my brain. Now the word apple was connected to eat like and red. Suddenly the word wasn't floating anymore. It had a place, a family, a meaning. The next day I picked another word book. I made sentences again. This is a book. I read the book. The book is new. While I did this, I started noticing something amazing. Some words came back again and again. Words like, is the I. These were like little bridges. They linked everything together. They connected word to word, idea to idea. My brain was no longer memorizing single words. It was creating groups. It was building meaning. I could feel it. So I continued. Day by day, I made small word groups: foods, clothes, actions, feelings, places. For example, in my feelings group, I wrote, I am happy. He is sad. She feels cold. I didn't just memorize these sentences. I imagined myself in each one. I saw the smile when I said happy. I felt the cold when I said she feels cold. These sentences came alive in my imagination. After a month, my brain had many little areas. Each group was like a tiny neighborhood. They weren't messy. They were connected, organized, like a small English-speaking city inside me. If I needed to talk about time, I would go to the time part of my mind. Today is Tuesday. It's 5 o'clock. I'm late. These thoughts came more naturally, more easily. I didn't need to translate. I didn't need to search. I just followed the map. Sometimes I even drew these maps on paper, not like real maps with roads, but like webs. In the center, I would write a word like school. Then I drew lines to other connected words: teacher, students, bag, classroom. Then I added sentences. I go to school. My teacher is nice. The classroom is big. I looked at the paper. I read the sentences out loud. I felt the meaning. And just like that, the words stayed in my brain, stronger, deeper, clearer. You can do this too. You don't need to be an artist. Your map doesn't need to be perfect. You can write it on paper, or you can imagine it in your mind. Just pick one word and ask, what can I say with this? Make small sentences. Find words that connect. Repeat them out loud. Say them silently in your mind. Add emotion if you can. Then choose another word. Over time, your brain will become full, but not heavy. Full of living English, organized English, connected English. This is your mind map. It's your personal tool. It's not about grammar rules. It's not about tests. It's about building real, usable English that lives inside you. You are not just collecting vocabulary. You are building a world inside your head, one word at a time, one sentence at a time, one emotion at a time. And that is something powerful. That is something to be proud of. In the next chapter, I'll show you how I use this map, not just to think, but to feel in English. I'll share how emotions made my English stronger, and how thinking with the heart is just as important as thinking with the brain. You're building something beautiful. Let's keep going. Chapter 12. Use English to feel emotions. At first, English was only a subject in school. I learned grammar, I wrote essays, I answered questions, but I didn't feel anything. The words were like dry paper, cold, distant, empty. They didn't touch my heart. But one day, something changed. I was walking home and saw a small girl crying on the street. She looked lost. I felt a wave of emotion. In my own language, I thought, she's sad. But then softly in English, another thought appeared, She is sad. And something about that moment felt real. The words weren't just from a book anymore. They came with feeling. They came from inside me. And I realized something important: English can carry emotion too. That small moment taught me a big truth. If I wanted to truly think in English, I had to also feel in English. So I began practicing. When I was happy, I whispered, "I am happy." When I was tired, I said, "I feel tired." When I was angry, I told myself, "I'm angry now." When I missed someone, I quietly thought I missed them. These simple sentences helped me connect English with my real life, my real heart. They weren't just words, they were part of me. I also began watching English shows and movies, but not just for vocabulary. I watched to understand emotions. When a character said, "I miss you," I imagined saying that to someone I loved. When someone in a show cried and whispered, "I'm scared," I imagined how I would feel in that moment. I wasn't just listening, I was feeling. My brain was now matching sentences with feelings. Slowly, my thoughts changed. I didn't just think I am sad in English. I felt it in English. The sentence and the emotion became one. Music helped me too. I listened to slow English songs, songs about love, sadness, hope, dreams. Sometimes I didn't understand every word, but I understood the feeling, the tone, the mood. One line stayed in my heart: "You are not alone." It was so simple, but so powerful. I wrote it down. I whispered it to myself on hard days. I believed it. That sentence became part of me. It gave me strength. I also started writing a small diary, but not about what I did. It was a diary of my feelings. Today I felt nervous. I'm grateful. I want peace. I feel confused. Even one sentence a day helped me. It helped me understand myself, and it helped me practice English with my heart. I learned something very important. When you use English only with your brain, it stays outside you. It stays like a tool you have to hold. But when you use English with your feelings, it comes inside you. It becomes part of your voice, part of your identity, and that's when fluency becomes real. Because at that point, you're not just thinking in English, you're living in English. So now I invite you to feel in English. When you laugh, say, "That's funny." When you smile, say, "I feel happy." When you feel peace, say, "It's a calm day." When your heart hurts, say, "I am sad, but I will be okay." Let English hold your feelings. Let it walk with you through all your emotions, good and bad. That is how you build a deep, honest connection with the language. In the next chapter, I'll show you how I used all of this, my thoughts, my feelings, my small sentences, to build a daily writing habit in English. That habit changed everything. It helped me become more clear, more focused, and more fluent. You're so close now. Let's keep walking forward, one feeling at a time. Chapter 13. Write simple English thoughts every day. One evening, I was sitting in my room feeling tired and a bit confused. I had been learning English for a while. I had studied many words, listened to podcasts, repeated sentences, and tried to think in English. But something still didn't feel right. My mind felt full, like it had too many ideas inside, all trying to speak at the same time. I felt overwhelmed, like my brain needed space to breathe. So without planning, I reached for an old notebook. I opened to a blank page. I didn't worry about grammar. I didn't worry about spelling. I just picked up my pen and wrote one small sentence: "I am tired." I looked at it. It was simple, but it felt good. It felt honest. It felt true. Then I wrote another sentence: "But I am learning," and one more: I want to keep going. That was the first time I discovered something important. Writing your thoughts in English is powerful. From that day, I started writing every night, not for a test, not for a teacher, just for myself. Sometimes I wrote just 2 or 3 short lines. Today I felt shy. I talked to my teacher. It was hard to speak, but I tried. These little sentences became my safe space, a quiet place where I could express myself in English, a space where I could be honest. I didn't have to be perfect. I didn't have to impress anyone. It was just me, my thoughts, and my growing English. I wrote what I really felt. I miss my friend. I laughed a lot today. I want to speak better. Some days my English had small mistakes. That didn't matter. My feelings were real, and that truth helped my brain remember the words. The more honest I was, the stronger the connection became between English and my inner world. Sometimes I wrote about tiny things. It rained today. I saw a yellow bird. I ate too much rice. These simple thoughts helped me see the world through English. From those little lines, bigger ideas began to grow. I like rainy weather. Birds make me smile. Food makes me happy. Every sentence was like a small window, a window into my life, a window into my emotions, a window into English. Writing made me feel peaceful. When I wrote my feelings in English, my brain felt lighter. My heart felt stronger. I felt like I had more control over my language. It was like talking to myself, but with more focus, more calm, more clarity. And something magical happened when I looked back at old pages. I could see my progress. In the beginning, my sentences were very short, but after a few weeks, they got longer. I added more details. I used better words without even realizing it. Some days, I didn't know what to write, so I asked myself a question. How was my day? What do I want tomorrow? And the answers came. Today was okay. I finished my homework. Tomorrow I want to practice more. It felt like having a kind conversation with a friend who listened without judging, a friend who helped me grow. That friend was my notebook. You can start this habit too. You don't need a fancy journal. You don't need perfect grammar. Just open a page or a digital note and write 1 or 2 sentences. I feel happy. I am learning English. I am doing my best. That's enough. That's powerful. That is how deep thinking in English begins. Some days I wrote just 1 line. Some days I filled a page. But every time I felt more connected to the language. English became part of my daily life, not just something I studied, but something I lived. And that is the real goal. Not just to learn English from books, but to make English a part of your thoughts, your feelings, your daily world. In the next chapter, I'll show you how I took this habit 1 step further by speaking the words I wrote. First in my head, then out loud with my voice. That final step helped me move from quiet thinking to confident speaking. You're doing amazing. Let's keep going 1 sentence at a time. Chapter 14. Speak English in your mind. First, then your mouth. In the beginning, I believed that speaking English meant opening my mouth and talking right away. I thought that if I didn't speak out loud immediately, I was doing something wrong. So I tried, but every time my mouth froze. My brain went blank. The words I had learned didn't show up. I felt stuck. I felt afraid. I felt like I had forgotten everything. But deep inside, I knew something wasn't right. I had studied. I had listened. I had thought in English. So why couldn't I speak? Then I realized the true speaking doesn't start with your mouth. It starts with your mind. Before you can speak confidently out loud, you need to speak silently inside your head, calmly, gently, slowly. Your brain needs space to practice. Your thoughts need time to grow. You don't have to rush. So I began a new habit. Every day, I practiced silent speaking. When I walked outside, I spoke in my mind. I'm going to the shop. The sky is blue today. I feel sleepy. No one heard me, but I was speaking. My brain was choosing words. I was building fluency silently from the inside out. At home, I read my own diary entries in my mind. I want to learn more. Today, I was nervous in class. I'm proud of myself. I read them like I was talking to a kind friend. I added feeling. I imagined someone listening. And slowly, those quiet sentences became stronger. Then, one day, I stood in front of a mirror. I looked at myself and whispered a sentence I had practiced many times inside my head. I can do this. It was soft. It was quiet. But it was real. I had spoken it. And it felt amazing because the sentence wasn't new. It was already alive inside me. I had practiced it many times silently. Now it flowed out naturally. That's the secret I want to share with you. You don't need to speak out loud from the beginning. You can speak first in your mind. Describe your actions. Talk about your feelings. Repeat words you hear in videos. Practice inside where it's safe. In your mind, there's no pressure, no fear. You can pause. You can fix your mistakes. You can repeat until it feels right. Your brain becomes your classroom. Your thoughts become your teacher. I also use this method with English videos. When I heard a phrase like, "let's take a break," I said it silently in my mind. Let's take a break. I imagined myself saying it to a friend. I repeated it again and again quietly. Then one day, after a long study session, I smiled and said it out loud, "Let's take a break." It felt easy. It felt natural. Because I had already practiced it 100 times inside my head. Some people might say, if you don't speak out loud, you'll never be fluent. But I don't believe that. I believe that true fluency begins inside. It begins when your thoughts feel safe in English. It begins when your inner voice becomes clear and confident. And when that inner voice is ready, your outer voice will follow. So tonight, before you go to bed, close your eyes. Speak one sentence to yourself. I did well today. I'm learning. I will try again tomorrow. Feel the words. Hear them in your mind. Let them become part of you. Then, if you're ready, say them out loud, even softly, even in a whisper. That is how your real English voice begins. In the next chapter, I'll tell you how I stayed patient during this slow journey. There were days I felt stuck. There were times when no words came, but I learned to trust the process, and that trust helped me continue. You're almost there. Your English voice is growing stronger every day. Let's keep moving step by step, word by word, thought by thought. Chapter 15. How to stay patient. When you feel slow, there were many days when I felt like nothing was working. I tried everything I read in English. I listened to podcasts. I wrote in my notebook. I even spoke to myself in my head. But still, I felt slow. Too slow. I looked at others who spoke English so easily, so naturally, and I asked myself, why can't I speak like that? I felt like I was falling behind. I began to wonder if maybe I wasn't smart enough. Maybe I didn't have the talent. Maybe English just wasn't for me. But that thought was wrong. What I needed was not more speed or more pressure. What I needed was patience. You see, fluency is not something loud. It's not about speaking fast or using perfect grammar. Fluency is something soft. It grows slowly like a quiet flower blooming over time. It is trust. It is calm. And it takes time to grow strong. At first, I didn't understand that. So I rushed. I pushed myself hard. I told myself, speak faster. Remember more words. Be better. But the harder I pushed, the more I forgot. The more I rushed, the more I froze. My brain needed time. My heart needed space. One day after feeling frustrated, I sat alone with my notebook. I had tried shadowing, but my mouth felt tired. I had listened to a story, but I didn't understand all the words. I felt like quitting. Then I opened to the first page of my notebook and saw a sentence I had written many weeks before I am trying. That small sentence touched my heart because it was still true. I was still trying. I hadn't given up. And in that moment, I understood something big. Trying is enough. So I made a quiet promise to myself. Even if I feel slow, I will keep going. From that day forward, I stopped asking, how many words did I learn today? Or how long until I'm fluent? Instead, I said to myself, today I will learn just one thing. That's enough. And something inside me began to change. The pressure disappeared. The fear started to fade. I felt light again. I began to notice and enjoy the small wins. I understood a sentence in a movie. I remembered a word while walking. I had a short thought in English without translating. These little moments felt beautiful. They were signs that I was moving forward even if the progress was slow. Like a tree that grows roots underground before anyone sees its leaves. My English was growing deep inside me even when I couldn't see it. Some days, I felt too tired to study. On those days, I gave myself a break. I listened to soft English songs. I watched a cartoon. Or I simply whispered, I will try again tomorrow. And that was okay. Being patient means being kind to yourself. It means trusting your journey even on the slow days. I reminded myself how I learned to walk. No one learns to walk in one day. We fall, we cry, we try again. Slowly, step by step, we learn. And English is just like that. You might make mistakes. You might forget words. You might feel stuck. But if you keep standing up, you are still winning. Every time you try again, you grow a little more. So if you ever feel slow, please don't stop. Don't give up. Take a moment to look back at how far you've come. Remember the first English word you learned. The first sentence you ever said out loud. The first time you thought in English. These moments matter. They are proof that you're not stuck. You are becoming. You are changing. You are growing. In the next and final chapter, I'll help you bring it all together. All your thoughts, all your small wins, all the quiet strength you've built inside. I'll show you how to trust your voice, speak freely, and enjoy the beautiful language you've created within yourself. You're almost at the end. One last step, one final chapter. Let's finish strong together. Chapter 16. Now. You think in English, let's speak freely. I still remember the first time I thought a full sentence in English without trying, without forcing. It was early in the morning. I had just opened my eyes, and outside my window the sky was soft and golden. And then quietly, a sentence appeared in my mind. The sky is beautiful today. It came naturally, gently, like a quiet wave. I didn't plan to say it. I didn't translate. It just came all by itself. And in that moment I smiled. Because I realized something had changed deep inside me. I was no longer just studying English. I was living in English. This journey wasn't quick. It wasn't perfect. There were many slow days. There were times when I felt scared, or unsure, or tired, But I kept going. I stayed with it. I used pictures to think. I created small, simple sentences. I talked silently to myself. I replaced words from my native language. I practiced during daily life. I listened. I shadowed. I felt emotions in English. I wrote honestly. I spoke in my mind before using my voice. I stayed patient. And now, here I am, not afraid, not silent, but ready to speak freely. But what does speaking freely mean? It doesn't mean you speak fast. It doesn't mean you know big or fancy words. It means you speak with confidence, with peace, with your real voice. Your English might still be simple. That's perfectly okay. Simple words are strong words. Simple ideas are clear. You don't need to impress anyone. You only need to express yourself. And now, you can. These days when I go for a walk, I don't need to translate in my head. When I talk to someone, I don't freeze. When I make a mistake, I don't feel embarrassed. I feel human. I feel strong. Because fluency isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about feeling calm when you speak. It's about trusting your English thoughts. You've built something powerful inside you. You've created a small English world inside your mind, a place filled with words, pictures, feelings, and memories. It's alive. It's growing. And now, it's time to let it shine. Speak your thoughts. Speak your emotions. Speak your story. Start small if you need to. Say things like, I woke up early. I ate lunch with my friend. I'm learning every day. Then open your heart a little more. I feel happy today. I miss my family. I want to become stronger. Let your sentences come from inside. Don't worry if they're short. Let them be honest. Let them be yours. Now you can speak freely to yourself when you're walking, when you're cooking, when you're alone. You can speak freely to others, your friends, your classmates, even strangers. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment. You don't have to wait to feel ready, because you already are ready. You have everything you need inside you. And this is not the end of your English journey. It's only the beginning of your freedom. Yes, you will still learn more. You will grow. But now you have the most important part, your voice. And that voice matters. Use it. Share it. Enjoy it. So now, take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Say one sentence in English, just one. Let it come from your heart. Maybe it's, I can speak now. I'm proud of myself. This is my first step. Whatever it is, say it. Feel it. That sentence is yours. That voice is yours. That freedom is yours. If this journey helped you even just one sentence, one idea, one small moment, please tell me in the comments. I would love to hear your voice. What did you feel? What changed inside you? And if you're ready to continue speaking English with courage, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with someone who is learning too. Help them feel what you feel now. Because you're no longer just learning English. You are thinking in English. And now you are ready to speak.